Now at 8:30 on WKYT this morning, 1 week ago today, 49 people died in a mass shooting at an Orlando nightclub. How the city is rallying around each other and staying strong just ahead.
We'll also look at this scary scene on Interstate 75 overnight near Rockcastle County. An ambulance caught fire and then exploded. The details on that story coming up.
Plus, some big changes are in the works for the University of Louisville. We'll hear from U of L alum Senator Mitch McConnell on what he thinks of those changes ahead on WKYT this morning.
This is WKYT This Morning.
Welcome. Thanks so much for joining us on this Sunday morning. I'm Michelle Chamberlain.
And I'm Sean Moody. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. Off to a good start.
It is a great day. Good Father's Day for all those guys out there, right, Mike?
Most definitely, Michelle, especially for those dads that like playing golf, because look at this fantastic view here in Lexington, looking toward Clark County on our live sky camera. Beautiful as we get going. The clouds are back, but they're rather thin, so nothing that should really impact our morning all that much. Looking at the Defender radar network, there are some isolated showers out there over Pulaski County and Clinton counties, but nothing that's really going to impact your start to the day. And if we take a wider look, high pressure off to our east, that is allowing for that cloud cover to work its way back into the bluegrass, but for the most part things are going to be looking quite nice today. That will allow for the humidity to begin to rise, as temperatures are as well. The lower 70s, that's a little warmer than where we were at this time yesterday, and that will continue to be the trend as we close out the official end to the spring season and head into summer tomorrow. Coming up, I'll take you through Father's Day and hour by hour show you what looks to be the first speed bump into the official start of the summer season on Tuesday.
Thank you, Mike. Thousands of people attended a professional soccer game in Orlando for the first major event with a big crowd since the shooting 1 week ago today.
And the community there is determined to stay strong as the victims' families bid them a final farewell during funeral services. WKYT Zhang is in Orlando with the latest.
The crowd at Orlando's Camping World Stadium sent a powerful message by wearing the colors of the rainbow.
Hopefully it shows unity and that we're there for the families and the victims. That we stand with them.
The city's professional soccer team hosted the first major sporting event since the massacre at a gay nightclub last weekend. Katie Bratley brought her two little boys with a message in mind.
It means that we're in a city that, we won't give in to terrorism. So it means a lot.
The tribute here at the soccer stadium was just one of many events scheduled throughout the weekend, offering support to victims' families as they lay their loved ones to rest.
Everyone's coming together, whether it was people that knew them or not.
Hundreds stood outside the funeral for Christopher Leinenen. The 32-year-old and his partner were both killed. Volunteers wore massive angel wings to shield mourners from protesters.
To say that love wins, that angels win.
Grief rippled across Puerto Rico, too. Nearly half of the 49 victims were Puerto Rican, including 28-year-old Angel Candelario Padro. His father says now God has a new angel. WKYT Zhang, CBS News, Orlando, Florida.
There are a lot of organizations raising money for the victims' families. Today, thousands of people will gather at the city's main lake for a fundraiser and vigil to mark the 1 week anniversary of the shooting. People here in central Kentucky are doing their part to remember the victims of the Orlando attack. Daryl Burt was one of the people who died in the mass shooting. Burt, also known as DJ, lived in Georgetown for several years. Some of his old friends are still shocked that he's gone.
These people, they're young people, he was my age. And they're gone just for a senseless reason, and I don't think anybody can understand it.
He always called me Miss D. He called me Miss D, and he was always wondering about stuff.
Funeral services for Burt are set. His homegoing service will be June 25th at noon, and that'll be in Virginia.
Today, a vigil and prayer service will be held in Franklin County to remember the victims of the Orlando attack. The service starts at 4 o'clock this afternoon at the Church of Ascension on Washington Street in downtown Frankfort. Two bishops will speak along with the mayor of Frankfort. People in Letcher County will also hold a candlelight vigil tonight to honor the lives lost in Orlando. The vigil will start at 8 tonight in Whitesburg at the Red Bridge next to the walking trail downtown. That's near the back of the Veterans Memorial parking lot. Organizers say anyone attending is welcome to bring flowers or other items.
New this morning, the Mount Vernon Fire Department responded to an ambulance fire. Here it is right here, this viewer-submitted video from Stacy Bush. There you go. You see that ambulance on fire, then exploding. That's near mile marker 69 on I-75 northbound. Now, according to the Mount Vernon Fire Department's Facebook page, that ambulance was with Rural Metro EMS and was coming to Lexington without a patient. You can see from some of the pictures they posted on their Facebook page, that ambulance is a total loss. Thankfully, that fire department says no one was hurt in the accident. State police are investigating a deadly crash in Madison County. The coroner says Dorothy Stewart was driving on Barnes Mill Road when she lost control. Kentucky State Police say she crossed into oncoming traffic off the road and then her car flipped multiple times. The coroner says she died at the scene. 2 other people in the car went to UK hospital. The coroner believed excessive speed was a factor in the crash.
Some big changes are in the works for the University of Louisville. Governor Matt Bevin announced he is removing all but 3 members from the university's board. He also said the university's president, James Ramsey, has agreed to resign. Ramsey had been at U of L for 14 years, and we're now hearing from one of the university's most powerful alums. Senator Mitch McConnell says Ramsey's long tenure has made U of L a better place, but at the same time, he says he agrees with the governor's actions.
I do think the governor did the right thing by clearing the board off. It's been a source of dissension and confusion both within the university and out in the community for a couple of years. So I think a fresh start's a good idea. Whether Jim Ramsey needs to be a part of a fresh start, I would like for the new board to consider that.
McConnell also says the improvements under Ramsey at Louisville have been what he calls spectacular, despite the university's recent controversies.
The future might sound like a whole lot quieter. Cleaner, quieter airplanes could be a thing of the future. NASA has unveiled plans for that fully electric airplane there called Maxwell. For now, it's a single-seater using 14 electric motors in all. NASA says Maxwell could be on the runway within 4 years, quickly followed by a series of 5 larger electric planes capable of holding more passengers and cargo. The project is part of NASA's $790 million New Aviation Horizons initiative.
I know someone who wants to be a test pilot for this electric plane.
I would volunteer for that anytime. Absolutely.
That's pretty cool, huh?
Yep, very cool.
So coming up on WKYT this morning.
Some of us need a little extra help when it comes to directions. The popular app Waze is handy for that, and now also for staying safe. That's ahead on WKYT this morning.
And for the dads out there, it looks like a wonderful Father's Day to close out the spring season, no matter where you look. Coming up, I'll take you hour by hour through Father's Day and into the start of the summer season, which could be a little messy for some.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with Mike Linden.
Getting started on Father's Day, things are looking wonderful. Our live sky camera, blue skies out there with some very thin, wispy clouds. Nothing that really should impact the start to your day all that much, nor do we really expect to find very much into the afternoon either. Now, if we look at the Defender radar network, the clouds are back. But again, they are quite thin, as you just saw. Nothing that really is going to impact the start to your day, nor the afternoon all that much. Can't rule out a chance for some showers, though, as high pressure that has kept us relatively cloud-free has now shifted off to the east of us. That has now allowed for that moisture to begin to work its way back in from the north. If we look to our northwest, well, there's the next system set to impact the bluegrass. That won't get here, though, until Tuesday and into Wednesday, bringing with it cooler air and active weather. Could be looking at some thunderstorms to kick off the start, at least the official start, to this summer season. But here on the final day of spring, it looks and feels a lot like the summer. The low 70s, beautiful as we get our Sunday morning started. A little cooler for the eastern mountains in the upper 60s, but nonetheless, if you're getting your Father's Day started early, this is some good weather for Dad. The low 70s. It's a little bit warmer than where we were at this time yesterday, just by a little bit, but that's continuing on with this trend that we have seen with our temperatures, that each day we're just going to continue to warm up by a couple of degrees, and you'll see that here on your hour-by-hour forecast. Check this out. We'll head into noon today, still looking at the low 80s. So dads, if you're heading out to some tea time or to really just go do some yard work, whatever you're going to go do outside, it looks like temperatures should be quite nice for you from now up until until noon, not to mention mostly sunny. Into the afternoon, back to the mid-80s, a chance for those scattered showers, but mainly you'll just be feeling that humidity starting to rise. Into the evening hours, 8 o'clock, looking like the low 80s and upper 70s. This is across the board. We're looking at a lot of uniformity here the next few days. Monday, the official start to the summer season, a little different than what we will find out there today. We are going to warm up considerably, back to the mid to high 80s and potentially even the lower 90s. Let's also not forget that humidity will be there. It's going to feel muggy tomorrow, and that could make temperatures feel a little bit warmer than what thermometers indicate. How about Jefferson County? 90 degrees tomorrow. We move into Tuesday now. It looks to be an active day and a muggy one at that. Temperatures starting out in the morning in the mid-70s. That is warmer than where we have been anywhere over the past couple of mornings. And then into Tuesday afternoon, that's where the scattered showers begin as temperatures once again sit in the mid to high 80s. But when you have a cold front interacting with temperatures in the mid to high 80s, that's where you get instability. And that means thunderstorms. Look at this well-defined line. That front pushing in the showers and storms across the bluegrass from north to south from Tuesday afternoon into the evening hours. As we get into the next few days here, we're going to go right back to that steamy feel into Monday and Tuesday as the humidity rises. But at least for today, for Father's Day, things are looking wonderful. The mid to high 80s, mostly sunny. Now, don't get me wrong, tomorrow's going to be mostly sunny as well, but the humidity is slowly making a push, and that low 90 could feel a little bit warmer than that. The only minor hiccup here in the forecast looks to be Tuesday and Wednesday, with the chance for some potentially strong thunderstorms rolling into the bluegrass.
Well, you can't just have a full week of sun.
Well, it's the
summer
summer
why would
in
you be able
Kentucky.
to? Right.
Thunderstorms are going to be here, and it looks like we'll get some very early in the season.
For sure. Thanks, Mike. More than 50 million people use Waze. Some changes, though, are coming to the app.
Yes, they are. Waze may also introduce a feature to warn drivers about routes that could be heavy in crime. CBS's Chris Van Cleve is in New Orleans with more details.
You feel a little nervous. This is what some Waze users call a suicide straight. It's when the app directs drivers across multiple lanes of heavy traffic. Another concern for some, when it suggests a left turn through that same multi-lane traffic without a light. But Waze's Amber Kirby says, not anymore. Starting first in Los Angeles, the app may sacrifice a little time for safety. When we drove with the new feature, it had us turn left on a lightly trafficked side street instead of across the much busier Lincoln Boulevard in Santa Monica, sending us to a stop sign and a less stressful right turn. That's one of several changes the Waze team is considering. In Brazil, an elderly woman was murdered after she entered an incorrect address and was routed into a neighborhood known for gang violence. The company is now working on what could be a controversial next step, a new feature in that country to alert drivers about routes through high crime areas.
We're working with the government, we're working with local community groups who are able to identify which neighborhoods have safety issues.
Crime data is notoriously unreliable.
Ezekiel Edwards from the American Civil Liberties Union.
People would be relying on flawed data to make decisions about where to drive and where not to drive.
The crime feature could be ready before the Brazil Olympics, but there's no firm timeline on when it will be rolled out or if it would ever come to the U.S. Difficult intersections live in Los Angeles now, soon New Orleans, and could be in D.C. and Boston by the end of the year. Chris Van Cleve, CBS News, New Orleans.
Your time is 8:46 this morning.
We will have more news when we come back.
Good morning. I'm Bill Bryant. Senator Rand Paul on various topics after the Orlando shooting massacre. A clip from Kentucky newsmakers coming up.
This Sunday morning, Roots, researching your family tree. Plus actor Richard Gere and Tim Daly of Madam Secretary. Listen for the trumpets.
Kentucky mornings start here. You're watching WKYT This Morning.
Good morning. I'm Bill Bryant. Kentucky Senator Rand Paul is up for re-election this year. He's a Republican facing Democratic nominee Lexington Mayor Jim Gray. Paul was at WKYT for a wide-ranging Kentucky newsmakers interview, which we'll be repeating this morning at 10 over on the CW Lexington. Among our topics, the push to prevent suspected terrorists from buying guns in light of the shootings in Orlando and elsewhere.
As a physician, we try to look things very logically. What will work and what would have stopped this killing? So let's say you do what the Democrats want to do. They want to take away the Second Amendment rights of anybody on the terror list. Well, this killer wasn't on the list. And so I've been asking this question. I met with the FBI director. I've been asking this question over and over again. Why wasn't he on the list? And the answer I'm getting is that they investigated him a couple of times. They had an investigation over for 10 months, and then they closed it. And so my response to the FBI was, well, you said he wasn't a credible threat, and I understand you did your best, but he was a credible threat. Maybe we should leave the investigations open longer. And if there is an open investigation, you're on the list, and what happens currently is the FBI is called before you can buy a weapon. So we do have a system, but the system broke down here mainly because the FBI closed the investigation. And there's a lot of evidence why they might have should have kept it open. Several times, at least 2 or 3 times, he threatened coworkers. Even going back to 2007, he was kicked out of a police academy for threatening coworkers. Twice he said he was going to kill people and it was going to be part of an Islamic jihad. He went to Saudi Arabia. He also was in communication, if indirectly, some communication with a suicide bomber. You add all of that up and you're like, why in the world did they close the investigation? And then the news is today that I'm hearing, or in the last couple of days, he went to a gun store 5 weeks before this, tried to buy body armor and tried to buy 1,000 rounds of ammunition, and they actually called the FBI. And so I'm thinking, gosh, if I'm in the FBI, what would I do? I was like, maybe I would look in a 100-mile radius for people we've interviewed, take their pictures down to the gun store and say, which one of they didn't have his name, but I'm guessing they might have been able to catch this guy. So we've got to do a better job at trying to stop people, better police work. But it doesn't make sense. You know, a lot of people have been for gun control. National Democrats have been for more gun control and banning guns for a long time. But we have to decide would it worked. So they want to ban guns for people on the list. But the problem is the guy wasn't on the list, so it wouldn't fix the problem. What I'm doing is saying, I don't want terrorists to have guns. How would it actually fix the problem? So I am for legislation that would say we keep the FBI investigations open longer. And what we're going to put forward on Monday is that FBI investigations will be open for 5 years. If you start and you get interviewed, it's going to be open for 5 years. Doesn't mean they're looking at you the whole time, but it means you'd be on the list the whole time.
If you remain on that list, would you then be opposed to them being able to purchase a weapon?
Well, they wouldn't be able to. The FBI would be notified. Now, it doesn't mean that they're permanently prevented, though. What would have to happen is a court proceeding. And the reason we want that is that, let's say you and I work together and I'm Arab American and you don't like me and you decide to call the FBI and say that I made a threat to you at work. There's a lot of unfair threats that aren't real threats. The FBI has to work through these. The FBI has a very difficult job. So they work through these and then they remove people from the list.
Now you can see the full interview with Senator Paul and also hear from Lexington Police Chief Mark Barnard about security at summer events in the city on Kentucky Newsmakers, and it repeats this morning at 10 over on the CW Lexington. Set your DVR or catch it then. Join us for the latest early this week on WKYT This Morning. I'm Bill Bryant. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to WKYT This Morning, 8:55 now on your Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day to all you fathers out there. And just to give a shout out to our own dads, we got to show you some pictures.
Yeah, here is a very young Mike Linden with his dad. He's
Look
the
at
child there in that
him.
picture with Mike's fiance.
He looks so happy in the photo too, right?
What happened? Here's Mike more recently with the rest of his family. A very, very happy gathering there.
What a great shot there.
Love you, Dad.
Look at this one. It's Sean Moody with his mom and his dad. I think you look a lot like your dad. What do you think?
Yeah, you think so?
Do you
I'll
get
take
that
it
a
as
lot?
a compliment. Yeah.
I met your dad once. Nice guy.
Yeah, oh, for sure. Here's our producer, Lindsay. She was 4 days old in this picture with her dad.
Look at that beard. She says he still has that beard.
Powerful beard.
Yes.
Mike Byer, unfortunately, is out sick with us this morning, but this is his first Father's Day, so we wanted to make sure we include him. There he is at his Cubbies gear, the big Cubs fan that he is.
Happy first Father's Day, Mike.
Unfortunately, I think his baby got him sick, so there's your Father's Day gift for you.
Here's Michelle's dad holding her when she was little and sporting his Reds jersey.
Look at that
Yeah,
hair.
he's a Reds fan. Tony Danza.
The hair
Did you see
and the
it?
facial hair.
Exactly.
It's on point.
Yep.
Love it.
For sure. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there.
Happy Father's Day. And it looks like, Mike, it's going to be a great day for the fathers.
I mean, how can it not be? When you're talking about temperatures this morning in the low 70s, into the afternoon, the mid to high 80s, mostly sunny, a little warmer than where we were yesterday, and the humidity is rising a little bit. But all in all, it looks like it should be a great day for you out there. A slight chance for some showers, but those should be very short-lived if we do see them. Regardless, a great day. Day for Dad.
And we would be remiss if we didn't wish our director Happy Father's Day to Rob.
Happy Father's Day, Rob. And to everyone else out there, have a good one.
Have a great day.